Hello, my name's Tony Cardenas, and this is the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Update. Today I'm sitting here with Jeff Matthey.
How's it going?
How are you doing, Jeff? Justin Griffith with Keller Williams.
Hello, hello.
Shelley Walters with FC Tucker. And by the way, Jeff's with FC Tucker too. How's everybody doing? How you been, Jeff? We haven't had you on the show for a little bit.
Pretty good. Staying busy.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that you've been listing a lot of houses and selling a lot of homes. That's good. Not everybody is, but it's nice to see somebody, get some traffic and some business out there. Justin, how are you doing?
Doing well. Staying busy.
Okay. Have you sold any container homes or any lots in the last few weeks?
No lots, but 2 homes last week.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And Shelley, how are you doing?
Doing great.
And how's the market where you are working, which is, I know it's all of Indianapolis and Hamilton County, but where are you doing most of your business right now? Are you in the Carmel, Fishers, Westfield area? Or?
Yep, everything. So that's just pretty much anything that we know we'll work in. I really do say that I don't want to go to a market that I don't know. So if there's some towns that I don't work in, I won't do it. So glad you asked that, because I do feel that we need to know the areas we're working in, understand the neighborhoods and what's around and the school system.
Well, it's funny that we did a couple weeks ago with you, Kyle, and I think Justin. Okay. But what I would like to do next week, because you sell down in southern Indiana on the lake. What's the name of the lake?
Sweetwater and Cordery.
Yeah, we ought to talk about the lake properties next week, because it's like vacation time, and then we can hit maybe some of the properties up on Morris and Geist again, just to kind of like keep that in the show a little bit. You're frowning at me. What did I do wrong?
We're talking to Raquel next week.
Oh, that's right. Well, we're going to get our house on the lake.
Okay. Next week we do have plans. Remember, we are going to talk to her about
we'll do it the week after.
Trying to figure out this market for people who are just trying to get their first home, and the younger set, because
it's brutal.
It's difficult. It's
really,
very,
very
difficult.
Brutal.
And I've seen some stuff on Nextdoor. People are complaining about all the rentals coming into their neighborhoods and all of that.
Yeah.
And people don't understand all of the ramifications for that. But one of them is the fact that when people come in to try and buy a home, and the price points that most of these companies are buying these, the cash, even foreign countries coming in and buy them. These kids cannot afford, and I call them kids, sorry, but they cannot afford their first-time home because they're competing with these corporations.
Well, it's funny you said that, because Justin and I were just talking about this, and you're right on point. April data for Housing Wire suggests that we're close to the peak of rent inflation. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's coming down.
And you and Justin were talking about. Justin, jump in here, and you and Shelley were talking about this a little bit.
Yeah, I was looking at a Redfin article a little bit earlier, but right now in the West, rents are down about 2%. Midwest, we're up 5%. So what they're saying is what we've been talking about for the last couple months is rates are low. There's going to be a lot of people keeping their homes and making them rentals. And since they have the lower interest rates right now, that they can actually list it a little bit less, and that's going to top out on the rental rates. So could be something good for potential renters in the future. I'm just not having the...
Yeah, they might be a little happy about that.
Yeah.
Rents are pretty high
Smidge,
right now.
Yeah, the rents are crazy someplace, and especially in the apartments. The apartments are really hitting people.
You know what the national average is for rent right now?
I have no idea. Tell me.
$1,995 a month.
It's crazy.
That's national, yeah.
National.
Yeah.
What, a two-bedroom, three-bedroom?
2-bedroom, 2-bath average. Yep.
Yeah, but what's a 3-bedroom here in Indy Metro, Hamilton County range for a 3-bedroom?
Jeff works on that market a lot.
Roughly 2,000, 2,100-ish.
That's unbelievable.
3-bedroom.
And they go in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anything in Fishers, Carmel, that's, anywhere in a nice house.
And you'll get 30 applications.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to, that's too much.
It is. And it's, you just kind of wonder, where does everybody else go?
I feel bad for like Raquel and some of these other people in her age generation that are paying, some of the people that are paying even $1,500, $1,700 a month in rent, and then $2,000. My God, my house payment is...
Well, and that's what you want to say is what's that correlate to? What's the price point of a house you could buy if you're renting at $1,900?
Well, that's what we're going to do with Raquel
I haven't seen
next week.
$1,500 rent payment in Hamilton County in 4 years.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. But anyway, let's talk about the traffic. People that are buying homes and people that are selling homes. Jump in here for me, Shelley. Let's...
Well, word on the street with a lot of agents is buyers are just not out there right now. I don't, the buyer fatigue, we keep talking about that, or just buyers sitting and waiting to see if these rates are going to change. Jim Litton of FC Tucker just did his quarterly report, and they are saying that tomorrow the Fed's going to again say what they think they're going to do. 70% of people are saying, that, according to him, the economists, are saying that they won't raise rates tomorrow. So
Wall Street Journal thinks
seeing?
There could be a rise to the undersoar inflation of anxieties. The Fed rate could go up. I'm just telling you what the Wall Street says. That's not always Bible, but it's pretty damn close to Bible. But, I'm not voting for it. Okay, I do think we're going to get an increase. I'm just going by what I see and what I read, and more what I read is like we're going to get it, and then there's a little bit less that we don't. Hell, I hope we don't. It helps us all.
Yeah, I do think that the buyers are just really, really sitting back and waiting. It's really slowed down the market. It looks at the stats too. When we talk about all these stats that we'll go over about later, the list of sale ratios are coming down. Days on market are, they're steady, but things are just not happening. In the price points of 250 to 300, we were seeing, 50, 60 showings. 2 listings we had this week, 5.
Right.
I'm like, they're not out there.
So let me go over something, and then I'll touch on this for a minute, and then we'll go into more of what's available, what's selling. But a home price, okay, with 20% down, $280,000. I'm actually going to make this $300,000. Okay, so people understand this. Okay, with 20% down, that would be $60,000. Loan amount $240,000 over 30 years. Okay, today's payment, okay, on that house with would be $1,587.07.
So you just said that was a $300,000 purchase with 20% down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going to do it a little over a year ago. That payment just to P&I would have been $1,004. So here's the thing: $1,004 versus today's rate, and I'm putting 6.94 in for an average right now. I'm just getting an average. That P&I payment is $1,587.07, and of course you're going to have taxes and insurance and HOA Homeowners Association. That's a $2,000 payment on a $300,000 home with 20% down. And right now, a lot of people don't have the 20% down for a $300,000 home. Right. So now you're going to get in the PMI. But the bottom line is, it was a whole different game.
1 year ago.
Just 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Just 1 year ago. So I can understand the people that want to buy their first home. It's a damn struggle. And
if you talk about that, though, these people that are doing their first time buy are putting down 3.5%, maybe 5% at the most. So what you just ran is not normal. And these guys are looking at the 225 to 250, putting down 3.5%. And
that's exactly right.
That's what we're looking at.
So, a $600,000 home with $120,000, a loan amount of $480,000 at 2.940%. Let's just say a little over a year ago. Let's go 14 months ago. Your principal and interest would have been $2,008.20. Today, that same scenario, same exact scenario, your payment would be $3,174.13.
That's a $12,000 swing.
It's a $12,000 swing. So I can understand why people are frustrated on the rents. I hope the rents do come down. Okay, I hope we are at the top of the rent board. And
there's just been no reprieve anywhere for buyers, for renters, for anything. It's just everybody.
Well, and one of the other things Jim talked about today was that the prices of homes are slowing down. We're not seeing these constant raise. So that'll help buyers.
So
as well.
for the low inventory, would you say, Jeff?
Still appreciating that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're
but
right
not
on
that
point there.
Rapid number.
Mm-hmm.
So of the homes that you are seeing in the market, Shelley, and the ones that you deal with, that are let's just take Carmel for a minute. How many listings did we have in Carmel last week?
So Carmel, we had 41 hit the market. Half of those pended, 22. 1 year ago this week, we had 40.
So wait a minute, half of them sold. Yeah. So we're in a really good market right now.
Well,
no inventory.
They're selling. So, but last year in 2022, this week, we had 46 hit the market, so 41. So we're about average of the amount hitting the market this week. Currently active, there are 136 in Carmel, 34 are new builds. in the past 30 days, 148 homes have sold. Average days on market was 15, and the median was 4.
There you go.
List to sale ratio 101%. That's all of the sales for the past 30 days. And then for Westfield, we had 50 hit the market. 21 of those sold. Last year, 57 hit the market. So that's, still about average. But here's the interesting, this is funny. Carmel, we had 136 active currently now this week at this time.
Right.
Last year, 105. So the inventory looks in that, if you look at the number for Carmel, is a little higher. In Westfield, this is, I triple checked it.
I know it.
Westfield, there's 236 homes on the market.
Unbelievable. Well,
136 are new builds.
Are new builds.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to
Last
do that.
year, 88 were active in Westfield.
Right.
So Westfield, again, we say this every week, is just so heavy on new builds.
And they're not stopping.
Yeah.
Like if you drive by, there's still tons of work happening.
I drive by 146th Street.
It looks different every time you drive by it.
Every time.
Crazy.
Well,
Just
it's crazy.
crazy.
It's just crazy.
Again, I will always say, from being on the redistricting committee in Carmel 3 times, what are those schools going to do?
I don't know what they're
I
going to
don't
do,
know.
but it looks like a rebuild community. You know what I mean? It looks
Yeah.
like everything got knocked down, and they're out there in
right.
emergency on every roundabout and every new roundabout that they're building
Yeah.
up there. Like, unbelievable. I mean, if I was a young person today, honestly, and I wanted to live in Hamilton County, and I would probably go to Westfield if I could get on the low end, because I think that's where you're going to have your greatest appreciation here in the next 5 or 6 years.
Well, new build is the way to go in Westfield if you want a choice. So that would be one thing. Then 150 sold in Westfield in the past 30 days, and 64 of those were new builds. Average list to sale ratio was 99% there. So again, builders are a little bit more negotiable.
Gotcha.
Average days on market was 42. The median was 7. In Zionsville, 13 hit the market 1 year ago. It was 20. Zionsville's always, low. The 7 of those 13 did pend. There's currently 60 on the market.
What's the price up there in Zionsville?
I did not write down the prices. Active now is 60. 15 of those are new builds. So the 30 days past sales, 52. Only 4 were new builds. The average days on market in the past 30 days was 8. Median was 3. List to sale ratio 101%.
Wow.
That just shows there's just no inventory, so they're selling quicker and above list. So those are my stats.
That's a lot. I mean,
Well,
the
I think
list to
what the-
sale ratio blows me away. We're short on inventory, but we have been shorter on inventory in Carmel.
Right. Well, right now 136, and that's all price points. But just I think all of these stats show me with Carmel, Westfield, and Zionsville that we're hovering around list price. We're not
Exactly.
seeing,
Yeah, you're not seeing big-
last year we were looking at 103, 106 list to sale ratio.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that anymore.
Okay. Hey, Jeff, let's move over to you, which is Fishers and Noblesville. Am I correct?
You are correct.
All right. What's going on there?
All right. In the last 7 days in Fishers, we had 48 active. 5 of those are new builds.
Okay.
Of those 48, 22 sold. Days on market average are 13, and 7 is the median.
Okay.
Currently active in Fishers, there are 151 with 20 new builds.
20 new builds.
30 days, the last 30 days sold 130 of those, and then 14 of those were new builds at 100% list to sale ratio. And then average days on market is 27 with 6 is the median.
Okay. Jeff, you do a lot of business up in that area too, don't you?
I do.
Okay. And besides Noblesville and Fishers, where do you get some more of your business? Are you up in Pendleton? Are you out in what's the other side of Geist? McCordsville?
McCordsville?
Yeah, you're out there too, aren't you?
Fortville, McCordsville.
Fortville.
Fortville, McCordsville, Lawrence, Fishers, Noblesville, Carmel.
So how's the
Pretty much
traffic
anything.
pattern? Are you getting
We'll do
calls?
it all.
The whole
Right.
like north,
do anywhere.
north side.
But for your area, are you getting a lot of calls right now, or is it the phone's just dead? I mean, it seems like you're always busy. So
A lot of listings more than anything right now. I got some buyers, but they're being pretty picky on what they're just holding back until they find that perfect house. They're just not jumping.
yeah, I'd be holding back a little bit too if I'm going to be paying 7%
Pretty
in an
much.
interest rate or higher, because some of the banks are 7.5% today.
One
I
of the
looked.
things too I'd say is some of my buyers are that buyer fatigue, or just that frustration of the multiple offers and fighting for homes. that's not really happening as much.
Right.
Not as much. So if there's buyers out there that are like, I am so done with that, really need to get back in the market and, talk to one of us about what's really happening in regards to the current homes that they might want to look at, because we are not seeing that kind of a escalation, as you can see with these stats.
Okay. Hey, Justin, let's move over
He's
to.
got
Do you want me to do
Noblesville.
Noblesville?
I'm sorry.
Fast?
I apologize, Jeff.
Noblesville had
Shelley
30
kicked in there and threw me off a
I
little
know,
bit.
sorry, I had to
Thank
say.
you. Yeah, Jeff, I want Noblesville for sure. Very important.
37 active in the last 7 days, 1 new build.
Okay.
Of those 37, 19 pended with an average days on market of 8. Median is 4. Currently active in Noblesville, there's 114 with 31 of those as new builds. Last 30 days that are sold have been 124 with 23 new builds out of that at 99% list to sale ratio.
That's really good for Noblesville, isn't it?
And 17 is the days on market average with 4 is the median.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
So it's still moving
Sorry
up
about
there.
that. Shelley threw me off a little bit, but Noblesville is very
It's all right. We
important
circled
for
back.
our show.
We circled back.
Yeah, we always circle back. Thank you, Jeff. And Kyle, you don't even look like Kyle.
I've been working
Where is
out,
Kyle
but
Morris? Justin Griffith with Keller Williams, Indy Metro Northeast.
There we go.
Okay. What do you got here for Broad Ripple? Let's kick it off.
Broad Ripple, we had 5 new, so pretty slow this week for Broad Ripple. 2 of those are still on the market, 3 pended, and we had 5 sales priced anywhere from $95 to $377.
Really?
Yep. The average was $291 on that.
Yeah, 377 seems good for Broad Ripple.
Oh, it's
quite
not bad
honestly.
at all.
So
There was a 95,000 sale down there?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's
We
a
had
shack.
one that was last week that was listed for like 90. I think it was like 600 square feet or
Right.
something. But
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Okay, so you got that. Now let's go over to Meridian Kessler.
Meridian Kessler, we had 13 new hit the
Wow.
market. Yep. 9 of
happened
those
there?
pended.
Wow.
They just moved so
So what's the
quick.
price of Meridian Kessler?
The average is $371 today for this week, but the prices sold were anywhere from $250 to $950.
Yeah.
Fountain
950 is
Square.
Yeah, Fountain Square. There we go.
So these numbers are going to be quite interesting. The average days on the market, I'll lead with this, is 528 for the closing.
Well, yeah.
So we had 2 listings finally closed. I should call that agent and congratulate them, but they were listed for 1,053 days. Both properties.
We
and
should
they
call
both
them and get them
sold.
on the show.
Be like, hey, how did you stick with it? That is
Yeah.
amazing.
How did you stick with it? How did you sell them?
That is amazing. So the average days on the market obviously are pretty high, but we had 4 closings, priced anywhere from 110 to 475.
How many
average
are
of
total
256.
in Fountain Square?
We had 2 new listings, nothing pinned.
Okay.
I'd be curious to see if
What's
that 1,000-day listing was their own listing, like their flip.
Yeah, you never know.
I know. Well, it was never flipped. They're just $30,000 homes.
Okay.
So it ruined the average and the median.
Okay.
Lastly, Bates Hendricks, we had 2 new hit the market. One of those is pending and average 8 days for that pending. So.
Well, it looks like Meridian Kessler got some action this week. Broad Ripple was a little short.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was
looks
busy
like,
last week.
And back to Jeff, it looks like Noblesville was pretty good.
Noblesville and Fishers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all. I mean, Hamilton County
I mean,
is
there
always
is some
strong.
inventory out here to buy for people. I just wonder what's, man, we're getting right. I mean, we're getting close to 4th of July.
Yeah,
okay?
it's the summer.
It is going to change, and I don't know
going
how
quick.
it's going to change. I really don't. I don't know if it's going to go a little crazier. It depends what the feds do. Okay. I hope the feds do decrease it, but, look at the Wall Street Journal and the Barron's report. It kind of dictates what's going to happen.
Well, here's the thing I will say, though, in regards to what the date is, when we were, our standard market, right now we've got these families, they need to close to be in school the 1st of August. I used to always say, you get your house on the market April, May, because the families need to move and you want to have your contract by the end of June. If we were looking at a standard market, the end of June is coming for all families who are thinking of moving and need to be in by school. We're coming up on that. I mean, it's just
right. We're right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hey, we're going to take a brief break. Justin, you have to leave the show, and then Shelley and Jeff and I'll be back right after this message, okay? We're back on the show. Justin had to leave us, and we got Jeff Matthew with us with FC Tucker and Shelley Walters with FC Tucker. I want to jump into what are we hearing on the streets when the customers are calling you to possibly list their home, Shelley? What kind of feedback are you getting? Should I sell now? Interest rates are up. What kind of pricing are we getting on our listings? Somebody listing in Indy North, Westfield, Hamilton County.
Well, one of the
What are
things
you hearing?
I was talking with Kyle yesterday, and one of the things that he said, which is really important for sellers to understand, is if you call right now and say, this goes back to the prices and what they're doing. If you call us today and say, I'm really kind of thinking about selling, I may want to sell in September. Can you do a market analysis for us?
Yeah.
That's probably going to be a different number in September.
Absolutely will be.
So one of the, just talking about it, of course, we always want to have a conversation with the sellers, a couple months in advance, start the process, seeing what they need to do to their home and anything else like that, because preparation doesn't happen in a week for a listing.
Absolutely.
So getting it all ready. So coming at us and asking us what they can get for their house right now, we can give an idea, but it's possible that could go up, maybe a couple $1,000s, but it also could be different the other way. I mean, it's changing so much. So the stats that we do every 7 days, the reason we do this every 7 days is because it is fluctuating so much right now. And agents who are, real true listing specialists, which Jeff and I are, is really knowing what's going on in the market, understanding these stats and looking at days on market and everything like that. So if somebody calls us and they're wanting to sell their home, we're going to dive into their neighborhood, how it's going, their town, how it's going, and telling them days on market and what they can do, what they can expect with list to sale ratio. Okay. Because, the conversation before of we can probably have your house sold in 4 days and you'll probably get multiple offers and you'll go above list, is just not a conversation we can say unless we delve right into that neighborhood and say, here's what's happening here. And then look at their house. If their house isn't updated and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. People are going to pick apart now in this market, aren't they? I mean,
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
especially, yeah.
Buyers are really discerning right now. So it may be a seller's market still.
Right.
But buyers are not going to just grab anything.
Right.
And they're not.
Those days are over for a while.
How many, Jeff, we've had people who purchased homes a year ago. They're ready to sell already because they purchased out of desperation.
I know it.
Nobody's purchasing out of desperation anymore.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I might stick with that home.
The people are being relocated and stuff like that. They're a little bit quicker on their decisions and everything like that. But
exactly. But also, if I bought a home out of desperation a year and a half ago, they're probably not going to make so much on the house, but they have a heck of an interest rate. You know what I mean? And
they don't. Well, they're not wanting. I mean, they want out of the house, but they're not in the position to do that.
Yeah.
But
it would be hard for me to leave a 2.75 and jump into a 6. It would just be so tough.
That's the reason we have an inventory shortage.
Exactly. That's the reason we're having an inventory shortage. But on the other side of the fence, Jeff, what's some of the feedback that you're hearing from? We just went over some of the buyers. What are you hearing from buyers on your side of the world? About the same thing, or
pretty much the same. We start talking about 30 days or so before we want to list.
Yeah,
they'll ask for their numbers up front, and I'm like, all right, well, this is what it is today, but we're going to revisit the day before we list it, make sure our prices are right, kind of go through our list of what we need to do.
What are you hearing from the buyers? I can't believe the interest rates are this high. I mean, you got to be hearing some of that feedback.
Not too much. They're still just going by their numbers.
Yeah.
They just can't qualify for the higher number that they thought they could last year.
Right.
So instead of 350, they're looking at under 300 now.
Oh, easily under 300.
So they're a little bit squeezed on what they can buy.
This interest rate has taken an easy. And I remember we went the other way a couple of years ago, Shelley. But the bottom line is, this has easily taken $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $75,000 off the table for a buyer. Instead of the guy wanting to spend $350, he could be at $275.
But remember, we had this conversation too. Was okay, if you're going to be purchasing a home, if you're looking at $250, let's say,
right,
you're possibly this is actually, it doesn't make sense for a $250 house, because if you're a $250 house, you can't escalate $50,000. You just don't have that money.
Let's go over your idea.
So let's just say if it's a house that's $350 or $400,
okay,
you were paying $50,000 to $60,000 over the list price.
You were.
In today's market, that $300 to $350 house is not going to escalate like that.
Not at all.
So you're not paying as much for a house as you were, and you're not having to do the appraisal gap, and you're not doing that. So it's kind of another conversation to have with the buyers is you're not going to have to just like pay more for the house than you even just saw that it appraised with appraisal gap and all that stuff. So we said, we've talked about this so much last year, but I think now it really makes more sense in these, 99% list to sale ratio, 100% list to sale ratio. It's not the 104 and 105. So buyers actually will have more buying power truly right now. It's the interest rates that's hurting them, not the prices.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, it's going to be an interesting week. We're a couple weeks away from 4th of July. Okay. Now, I know it's going to be interesting to see which way the listings go. I expect more listings. Okay. I do.
I got one coming up next week.
Good. The bottom line is, what will the feds do if the rates go up? It's gonna slow down a couple people from listing their homes, or because they got to buy. Okay, and then the buyers, it's going to change that. So we're in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. We're in a very interesting pocket right here for really getting into the beginning of summer. But in our world, it's the middle of summer because kids are going to be going back to school. I mean, you got in about 45 days or less, you got people going back to school, buying stuff to.
And people don't like to move when school's already
not
started.
At all.
And
not
the vacations start happening at in August. I mean, in July. So I don't know. It's just the people that are buying and selling right now are doing it because they have to.
Right. Exactly.
There's no recreational buying and selling right now. I have people who, were in the market to buy because they just wanted a bigger house. It'd be best for their family to have some more space. They're just not going to do that right now until they really see what's going to happen.
Right. Okay. Well, Jeff Matthey with FC Tucker, thank you for being on the show this week. Shelley Walters with FC Tucker. Jeff, if they want to reach out to you and ask you some questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Call, text, or email. My phone number is 317-558-9178, and jeff@shelleywalters.com.
Okay, and Shelley.
Yes, it's Shelley. That cell phone is 317-201-2601. And Shelley Walters Realty Group. Thanks.
Okay, everybody, thank you. And next week, we got Raquel on the show, and we're going to talk about first-time home buyers. And she's going to have some questions for us. And, we got to be able to have a great dialogue on this so we can guide her the right way. Hey, everybody, thank you for listening to the show, and we will talk to you next week.